day in 1896, a proper Bostonian lady planted the seeds of 20th century conservation when she invited some friends for afternoon tea. Harriet Hemingway wanted her friends to help her put a stop to the slaughter of birds in the name of fashion. Bird plumes and even entire birds were adorning women's hats across the country. In an era when quietness was a prized female virtue, Mrs. Hemingway believed that someone had to speak up to stop this devastation of wildlife. Even though Harriet and her friends could not vote, they could persuade, and how, as they recruited their husbands and influential friends to take up the cause of saving birds. 1 year later, they had built a groundswell of opposition to the wearing of bird plumage and had founded the fledgling Audubon Society. By 1910, what had begun in a parlor had transformed into legislation that had outlawed the slaughter of birds for use in fashion. A few committed women had helped persuade a nation for the need for wildlife conservation. A half-century later, another woman helped spark the modern environmental movement with the publication of one book. In her landmark 1962 Silent Spring, Rachel Carson opened the world's eyes to the damage being inflicted on life by the indiscriminate use of pesticides. She revealed how DDT, specifically, was affecting more than its intended targets by working its way up the food chain where it was decimating bird populations in particular. Even as a highly respected scientist and best-selling author, Carson was ridiculed in certain quarters for her alarmist findings, but she stood her ground and her findings were quickly vindicated. Birds, the proverbial canaries in the coal mine, had been among the first animals to signal the environmental distress call. Rachel Carson did not live to see the banning of DDT, but her legacy lives on in the 5 women Audubon honors here today. Each of these women is, in her own way, ensuring we take responsibility for our planet's health today so that our children's children can live healthy lives in a sustainable environment.